everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Movie Talks and Chill. We are your hosts. I'm Tony Serrato.
I'm Gavin Butts.
I'm Patrick Wall.
And in this episode, we are going to be discussing not so much, well, it's about movies, but not so much movies, but what they call dump months. And it's a big thing in the industry. They say before streaming services now came around, movies are readily available everywhere. I mean, before streaming, when streaming first started, it was stuff that it was already out there for a while. Now all these streaming services are creating their own content, or you can get movies based after the pandemic also happened. Movies going that are in theaters are also available immediately on certain sites. You know, Paramount Plus, Disney, Hulu, all these. Plex. That's a different one. But before then, the movie industry relied heavily on, the big times when movies would really be big, and, you hear the term summer blockbuster. Yep. Because, the big budgeted movies usually come out in the summer because, number one, they're more profitable because kids are out of school, on vacations. They have more time. They can not only go on the weekends, they can go during the week. Right. So there's a lot more time available to go to them. But what dump months are is basically hindered in two different sections of the year. And that would be the beginning of the year, January and February, and then this latter half.
Second part of August and all of September is what I could understand.
Yeah.
Until Tony texted us this idea a few days ago, I had no idea this term existed in the film industry. And just doing a little research before the show, I don't understand. Some of these movies that came out during this time are really, really good. Mm-hmm. I think it's more of a Star Wars thing. They're like, this, whatever, pal, do whatever you want. This isn't going to do well, and then lo and behold, 50 years later, Disney Plus is still cranking out
$2 billion industry.
They bought it for George Lucas from 4-point-something billion, right?
Yep. Well, nowadays a lot of movies have followings. They're they
turn into cult classics after a while,
and not just cult classics, but the term there's more of a franchise now, or the past 20.
Did you ever hear this movie Stargate?
Well, Star Trek, Stargate.
I know what year it came out now.
But before, movies just came out. Again, I think they're. Older movies have more originality in terms, we've talked about it many times. Where movies
Stargate came out in October. It's not a dump movie.
There you go. But nowadays, the whole thing, when someone's making a movie, they're already thinking, how can we make this a franchise? Yeah. Movies never really used to do that.
They want to set up a universe.
Yeah, they would basically just start a movie and say, here's our vision. We hope it does well. We hope you like it as much as we enjoyed making it, and appreciate all the hard work and headache we had to go through to get it done. But nowadays they don't do that. I mean, they hope you like it, obviously, but they're going in. If I write a movie called, Patrick's Apartment, and my first thought is, how am I going to make sequels out of this?
So wait, is this a dirty movie, or is this a comedy,
Have you
drama?
Seen The Apartment?
Oh, so
this is a sad drama.
It's a drama.
It's a Greek tragedy. That's what the fuck it is.
It's a Greek tragedy.
It's like if Seinfeld, all the cast members were on heroin and crack. This is like the aftermath. Hey, Patrick.
No, they started living like they were on heroin and crack, but they were, for some reason, stupid sober.
Yeah.
They couldn't afford the heroin or crack.
Yeah. So that's really it. Nowadays, everybody's looking to sell toys, make franchises before they even see what the first movie does. So that's what they're hoping for. So when they get these other new ideas...
Exhibit A, The Dark Universe.
The Dark Universe, yep.
Which had potential, but that first movie sucked so hard.
It had potential.
Yeah.
And it failed.
Greatly.
So, they do that, but back then, what they would consider it as is the time of not only time of year. So you got August, September, or tail end of August, September. Kids are going back to school.
Right.
Football season's starting. Hockey season's about to start. Baseball's ending.
We don't talk about baseball,
but you know what I mean. So you get all those things that are happening now. Kids are back to school.
We talk about Moneyball, but that's about it.
Baseball doesn't start until October. Come on.
I will give you the last week of September. Are you actually going to make the playoffs? No. Well, then I don't care.
Yeah. So that's what they do, and then you have. And then October through December, you have all your holiday movies. You get your horror movies for Halloween. People are gearing up for Thanksgiving, so they start showing Christmas movies the day after Halloween. Skipping Thanksgiving movies altogether because We've had that episode. There's a lot of them, but not nearly as many as the other holidays.
It's specific, especially when you think specifically about Thanksgiving, that number goes down considerably.
Yeah.
Like, we're happy to talk ones that happen in late November, maybe even, like, clearly they referenced it, so it's just after Thanksgiving, so that does count. But ones that take place around the Thanksgiving Day holiday, there's like 5.
Yeah. Yeah. The actual holiday.
Yeah.
And then you have the other ones, once the holidays are over, you have January and February. So January and February, obviously February, football's still going on, but you get the Super Bowl, and Super Bowl Sunday, so that cuts into a big part of
That's essentially a holiday.
Yeah, so it cuts into the fees of families going out for that stuff. They're staying home more during that time. Kids are, obviously, like I said, back in school, so they're doing homework on the weekends. They're watching football on the weekend.
I've seen a lot of petitions here in recent years to make that Monday after Super Bowl Sunday a holiday.
They should. I mean, really, that's the bottom line.
I mean, I'm not big into the Super Bowl as much as I used to be, but I would still vote yes for a new federal holiday.
Yeah. Well, just like the beginning of the season, I always said, why not make the first kickoff actual, first season game of football every time, wherever Labor Day falls on, make it that Sunday before Labor Day.
Because they keep expanding the season.
But it does. But that's the first year, though. That's the first one, though. They could just do that.
Right.
It's basically the week before or week right after. It's like, why don't you just do that? Because most people are going to have off the next day anyway on Labor Day.
Because the Super Bowl used to be in January. And it almost always fell on my birthday as I was a kid. So I didn't have a birthday party.
Now it's the second
I had a
week of
freaking
February.
Super Bowl party.
That's what you're complaining about.
Shut up.
So back to the dump months. But yeah, so you have, January and February, because not only, you get the ending of football coming up, and it's still football season. Hockey's still going. The sports are still going on. Kids are still in school, or just getting back to school too, because they had the holidays off.
Yeah.
But then also you have the Oscars. And the Oscars are a big thing, and people want to watch those. So it really takes away from the times that people can sit down or go to the movies on the weekends, cuts into their budgeting. So from all the things I've researched about on what dump months is also a lot of studios, if they have a movie that they've purchased or bought the rights to, and they've made a promise to produce it or schedule it, if they have a contrary obligation to get it out by a certain time, and they don't think it's going to do that well, they're like, let's just put it in these months. Because chances are we're going to lose anyway, so we might as well lose in the dump month period.
And they don't want something that would be, a no-show taking up space, during the blockbuster months where they can make the biggest bang for their buck.
Yep. Yeah, so that's kind of, which is also why, like, movies, if you notice, like, it always comes back to Marvel or the DC or whatever, but a lot of those movies are starting to come out, like, in March and April now. They come out during the summer, throughout the year, but
or later in the year, like November, December.
Yeah. So they're starting to come out because now they've gotten rid of that dump month period. They're like, hey, we haven't had what they would consider most of the time the greatest movies out, and they're like, let's just throw this one out there. And usually it ends up spiking up those movies' ratings. So there is a rhyme and reason to it, from what I understand. Obviously, we don't work in Hollywood; we're not Hollywood execs, so we don't know exactly what the algorithm is. But
We judge heavily.
Yes.
And not even silently anymore. We've given ourselves a platform.
Over 27.
And now they know what we look like. Oh, gosh.
Shameless plug. We're on 27 different platforms.
Yeah,
Please like and subscribe on all of them.
Yes.
Actually, the ones I can't get analytics for, I don't give a shit.
So
Fuck you, iHeartRadio.
That's dumb months. But you were saying earlier when we were talking offline, so when you were looking up movies that have come out during dump months, most of the ones you were coming up with, or most sites you were finding, were like the ones that kind of beat the system.
Try and disprove that dump months are a thing.
Yes.
I didn't pull up that list because so basically to find the movies that I was hoping to see, just like, what are some dump month movies? Like, this is the meaning of a dump month. And then, like, every list after that, it was like 10 movies that disprove the dump month theory.
Yeah.
I was like, not really what I'm asking for, Google. Please reread and then resubmit. And then it wouldn't. And I got angry. So then I just started straight up, like, just brute forcing this. I asked, movies that came out in February 2023.
Movies that are dumps.
Yeah. And then I got a full list of every movie that came out in February 2023. A lot of these, and I mean, like 95% of these I have not heard. As a matter of fact, only 2 of these movies on this list I have actually heard about. One of them I actually watched. One of them, we actually all went to the theater to watch, and one of us has proclaimed it a masterpiece of cinema.
You're damn right.
A triumph of cinema.
Triumph of cinema.
Triumph.
Cocaine Bear!
Yep. That was a Dump Month movie.
Was it the bear or was it the cocaine?
Both. They were both amazing. And also
Yes.
the fact that we discovered Happy Accident, Wiley Wallaby's Licorice, champagne to licorice.
But Creed 3 also came out in February of this year, and that was supposed to be like a major blockbuster.
Which one?
Creed 3.
Oh, Creed 3.
I know it's not the sequel, so they were like, it's probably not going to do as well as the last one, so let's just, put it out there like a fart in the wind. But I remember that one actually got some pretty good reviews, but that came out in February 2023. But going back to Tony's initial... Alright, hold on, there we go.
Well, because a lot of them, too, not only disprove the theory, but a lot of them were older movies, or not older, but older. And they always, usually, the older ones...
They gather a cult following.
Yeah, they gain cult status.
Yeah. So a good example of this is Silence of the Lambs. It came out in February of 1991.
Hello, Chris.
Even I've seen that one. He ate the liver with a nice...
Fava beans.
Fava beans.
And a nice Chianti.
Chianti. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah, I can't. I'm not even going to try and mimic that. So, but Gavin, before we turned on the microphones, you brought this one up too. Office Space came out in February of 1999, which actually
still relevant today, even with working from home.
Yes,
still fucking relevant.
Love that movie, but I could see why a studio would be like, let's just
I definitely get that.
Yeah.
Like first looking at it, and I mean, hell, even at that time, getting Jennifer Aniston in it because I think she was, kind of on her upward trajectory from there.
Yeah,
Friends.
Yeah, from Friends.
Actually, I think she might have just been almost done with Friends.
It came out in 1999, so I think it was on the tail end of Friends.
Yeah.
But I mean, at that point, that entire cast and crew was making $1 million an episode. I think she was just doing something just to say.
She was trying to get her break into movies.
And she did this in We Are the Millers.
Well,
and then Horrible Bosses.
Yep.
Well, We're the Millers was much later.
But it's still a really good movie.
Also, about that one, too, is when Office Space came out, or not just the time frame it came out, but who did it was, the creator was Mike Judge. Really, at that point, for most people, only really knew Mike Judge.
King of the Hill.
No, not even that. Beavis and Butthead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, I knew him from King of the Hill. At that point, that's when King of the Hill was starting.
Well, Beavis and Butthead was the birthplace of Hank Hill.
Yeah, I remember that from Beavis and Butthead Do America.
Yeah. So basically, up until then, that's really, he was mainly just in the cartoon realm. It's kind of like how, Seth MacFarlane transitioned, even though I love Seth MacFarlane live action.
Yeah.
But, Mike Judge really wasn't that well known except for doing those couple things. So he now wrote a live action movie.
And it was pretty good.
But
I can honestly see why studio execs and put that out in February with the rest of the garbage.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's probably what they were looking at. Is also now if it was like, directed by Steven Spielberg or Martin Scorsese or something, they might have pushed that out a little bit further.
Right.
Yeah. Good old Marty.
That might have got an April release. Definitely not a June or July, but probably would have got an April.
He only goes April through June. Yeah. He's strictly that's Marty's months.
That's Marty's months.
The next movie on this list, I agree with. This is a dump movie. They must have signed Kevin James to a 3-year contract in this, or a 3-movie contract, and this was like his 3rd movie. And like
Paul Blart.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Paul Blart Mall Cop.
I think that one
is
matches the criteria for dump movies.
100%.
I love Kevin James.
Yeah, his hilarious.
I actually think the second one was much better than the first one.
Okay, until this very exact moment, I didn't know there was a sequel, and I was happy with my life not knowing that.
Paul Blart 2?
Yeah.
The blarter.
They're in Vegas.
Oh.
The reblarting.
Yeah, the reblarting. The next one was kind of a silent hit, but it was Get Out, Jordan Peele's first movie. I still haven't personally seen it. I've heard great things. I know a lot of people who've seen it. I want to see this. I'm just waiting for it to come out on anything that's not Hulu.
Again, up until that point, he was only really known for Key and Peele.
Yeah.
I mean, he had done other stuff.
I think he was also doing the host of the Twilight Zone at that point.
He might have been, but that's what I'm saying.
I don't think they revamped that until after Get Out because that was he kind of discovered like he really liked doing that because he got Get Out. And then
Us. He was working on Us.
Exactly. And then Nope.
Which that I've seen. It's not on our Plex server. It's really good.
Oh, that's really good. Yeah.
But yeah, Get Out. I could see why they're like he was like we have this movie. It's made. He clearly has talent, but he has no. This is his first time directing. We don't know if this is going to be good or bad. Let's throw it out in February or September with the rest of the stuff. But that became an instant hit. Like every critic who saw that movie absolutely loved it. And I still cannot wait to see it.
Well, you talk about like during the 80s and stuff. So a couple of them that were out. And this is going back, like I said, this was before they had the idea to do really like, let's make a franchise out of this. I mean, minus Star Wars and Indiana Jones at the time, they were doing kind of franchise stuff. But Dirty Dancing and Fatal Attraction.
I've seen Fatal Attraction.
Came out during dump months.
I think a lot younger than I should have with that one scene, but still.
We talking about the sex scene or the rabbit?
Why I was going to say, why'd you cross your legs?
Yeah. There's an old cartoon, and it's about a talent agent out in Hollywood, and he's talking with Sharon Stone. They're trying to get this actor on board with the movie, and she's like, "I'm Sharon Stone." He's like, "Oh, I've seen your downstairs before. I ain't working with you."
Well, one of the ones I know we've talked about, I think you even said you like this one and have seen it, is Tremors.
Love Tremors. It's one of the greatest monster movies of all time.
It goes again to like the cult status, with Office Space, Cloverfield.
I like Cloverfield. I love and hate Cloverfield. One, I love it because it's a really good movie and it was unique for its time. I hate it because everybody else and their mother thought Handycam was a really great idea after that for like the next year and a half. And not all movies need to be made with Handycam. I'm just going to go ahead and say it.
Yeah.
Please don't do that. Unless the narrative fits Handycam, do not use Handycam. Because after that, we got that, we got the hotel one with the news reporter. And then we got 3 other like monster ghost movies with a Handycam.
Well, I mean, the one that started it all was Blair Witch.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But everyone left it alone. Like, oh, that was cool.
Because they knew how to market. Yeah. They knew how to market a movie. Like, that movie made more money, I think, before it even really came out. Because they did... Sci-Fi Channel had a whole documentary about the movie before it even was released.
Right.
Like, when it was in... they were promoting it. But they had a whole big... So they knew how to market it. Yeah. And faking that it was a real thing. And then, of course, you get... I mean, not really handy... Well, it's... Yeah, not Handycam, but then it switched to, like, the Steadicam... Like security camera look was like Paranormal Activity and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so. With Jeffrey Donovan.
And then you had that POV movie, Hardcore Henry. I almost got sick watching that.
I wanted to love that movie, but I was genuinely getting sick about halfway. It was like, it's a first-person video game, but I don't have to touch a controller.
Yeah. Now, I'll tell you the movie that did that really good, and it was just because it was a short part of the movie, was Doom.
Yes.
The very end of
with Carl Urban.
Yeah. Yep. That did it really good because it was just a segment of it.
Yeah.
It wasn't the whole freaking movie.
Rumor has it that was supposed to be the pilot test for the Halo movie. Like, if that did well, they were going to use that scene as, like, the pilot to make the Halo movie.
I like it better that they did the series.
I was working at GameStop at that time, so my information may be a little bit more skewed.
No. Good, man.
Well, I like that they did that as a series and not a movie. They could expand that out a little more. But I don't know if they're going to
get into the series.
Oh,
whatever. I love Twisted Metal.
That was awesome.
That was a really good show.
Well, there was a lot more comedy in that. You can't have Master Chief be comedic.
Yeah. Damn it.
he's freaking Master Chief. They took all that out of him.
That's true.
Oh, you want emotion? Nope.
No, so you rebab. But yeah, so there are the ones that have escaped the tropes.
Yes.
Or some of these things have beat the curse of it as if it's like a real thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
Deadpool came out in February of 2016.
Yes, it did.
Split came out in 2016.
Fantastic movie.
How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days in 2003. I love that movie.
No, it's a good movie, but it's definitely a rom-com for certain people, and you're not going to get.
I love a good rom-com every now and again.
Yeah, we do, but I'm saying it's like you got to think of the overall audience. Anything from ages 13 and up who would see like that. It's they'd walk in and be like, okay.
See, I like this comedian talking one time about going, and this was back in the day when Blockbuster was still a thing. It's like going to pick out a movie for him and his girl. He's like, everything she likes I hate, and everything I like she hates. He's like, can we ever just get something like put all together? He's like, can I have something with tanks and explosions, and then they fall in love and kind of hold each other at the end?
The Matrix.
Yeah, kind of.
So one of the greatest movies of all time came out on February 12th of 1993. Groundhog Day.
Yep. But in fairness, I don't believe that was a movie the studios purposely put out because they didn't do well. It's around Groundhog Day.
Oh,
It's around the holiday.
It was around there. It had to be there.
That would be one of the only ones.
Like exceptions.
Yeah. I mean, the only other exception I could think of is like if you have a heavy like Valentine themed movie that would come out.
Like
a real President's Day movie.
Hail to the Chief.
Yeah. London Has Fallen was actually an homage to President's Day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fine. Olympus Has Fallen.
Yeah. Olympus, not London. How do you have President's Day in London?
It's still the same fucking day.
So? Wrong country.
July 4th happens around the world.
They don't even have a president.
I mean, technically, the country was founded by people coming over from Britain. So I'm just saying.
Yeah, I know. That's kind of how it's a slap in the face. Hey, you guys want us to come over on President's Day? Yeah.
I swear to God, if I ever move to London, I will celebrate President's Day every year in front of my British coworkers, and fuck you guys for saying so.
And you'll probably get stabbed with those baton thingies. What do they call them? What do they call
shockers.
those? Yeah.
Cattle prod?
No. They have those ones they hold like almost has a spike on the end of it, but it's
carry a flail.
If that's what it is, I'm trying to think of what it's actually called. I mean,
you talk about the one that's collapsible.
Yeah.
Oh, the stun baton.
No, but this has like a spike on the end of it. It's not.
Instead of the ball, it has the spike.
There's no electronics in it. It's still medieval.
It sounds straight up medieval, like a mace or a flail.
Yeah, or a pike. That's what I'm probably thinking of. But it has nothing to do with dump months, so let's get...
You're going to get dumped on.
Speaking of dump months, I do have a very specific sort of skills. Now, if you return my daughter to me right now, I will not go looking for you. Taken came out in February of 2009. That was a really good movie. It actually spawned 2 other sequels that would count as a Spree universe.
See, I like Deadpool 2's take on that. Is like, they made 3 of those movies. At some point, you just got to think he's a terrible dad.
To be fair, in the last one, his wife gets kidnapped. It's not his daughter.
No, didn't she die?
Yeah. Well, I think in real world, she just didn't, her contract ended. She just wanted to sign a new one.
Well, that's what it was she died. They had to find her murderer.
Yeah.
And his daughter was fine. She was being protected.
Yeah, that's right. The mom died.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
So he's just not a good family man.
Yeah. A terrible father.
Great secret agent.
Shitty husband.
Yeah.
That's what his tombstone is going to read. Here lies so-and-so. Horrible husband. Terrible father.
Great agent.
Literally let them all get tooken and killed multiple times.
Yeah.
Killed half of Germany to get his daughter back, though.
Yeah. Listen, if you're going to let your daughter get snagged overseas once, I think don't let her go overseas without you again, Just
he didn't. She got snagged. Well, actually, they got snagged in the second one, right? Him and the wife.
So,
yeah.
You guys are not good at not getting snagged.
It's definitely, you should change your last name of your family to Taken.
We should go on vacation. No, I don't think we do need to go on vacation.
Apparently
Down the
Schindler's
street.
List came out in a dump month back in 1993.
Another Liam Neeson.
I was going to say, he just can't catch a break.
Right?
But
that one
because they make money.
They
make good money.
That one was nominated for an Oscar.
I love Schindler's List.
It's a good
I like
movie.
the black and white version.
I don't like what it's about.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
I don't like the theme of it.
It's a really...
Actually, you know what? I take that back. I do like the theme because he's actually trying to help them.
Yeah.
But
he develops a moral compass.
Yes, behind the scenes, the actual main theme of what it's about. I'm not saying
AKA the Holocaust.
Yes.
I think they're doing something else kind of like that. There's a new Anthony Hopkins movie coming out about that. Where he's a Polish dude who saved a bunch of kids from the internment camps and tried to get them out and snuck them out of Poland before the Germans could find them and stuff.
Schindler's Brothers List?
I don't know. It starts as a scene that they even had him on Oprah, the story of the actual guy, and they had all the kids that he saved as the audience members, and he didn't even know it.
Oh, that's cool.
But one comment I want to make: if Schindler did they ever recognize if he had family, siblings? I can't remember.
It's been so long.
Imagine if you were the brother of Schindler after he did all that. You would never be able to live that down in your family. You would never be able to be good at anything like your brother. Why can't you be more like Schindler?
Right. Yeah.
He literally saved a bunch of people from the Holocaust. What have you done? You can't even sweep the floor when I ask you to. He saved Jews from dying.
Yeah, he saved all those people. Whoa, you got a master's degree in political science?
Yeah.
How's Starbucks treating you with that?
Yeah. I'll have another venti latte, asshole.
Yeah.
Which means 20.
Number one son.
Number 2, get the fuck out of my house. That's what that means.
Who's number one son, huh? Who's got the LeBaron, huh?
It's going to your dead grandfather who saved all those kids in Germany.
It's got the LeBaron.
And it would eat up if he had the brother. It would eat at him at every holiday. Thanksgiving, let's all talk about we're thankful. And we're so thankful for our number one son, Schindler, for saving all the Jews from the Holocaust.
And see,
Dad,
Bobby, what are you thankful for?
Dad, I'm an ER doctor. I saved some guy last night. One guy.
One guy.
One.
And you get paid to do it.
Yeah.
All right? He literally took his own money that he saved out of his piggy bank to save these people. You got paid to do that, all right?
All right, Mr. Fancy Doctor Man. We're happy you saved a life, but we're going to let your brother do the Thanksgiving prayer.
Let me ask you this. As if they had Edna back then. But if they didn't have Edna, would you have operated on an end-savers life? I don't think so, because you wouldn't have gotten your cut of the money.
I bet you'd save a lot more lives if you had a gun pointed to your head for saving them.
Why don't you save us all a lot of headache and go in the other room and eat your dinner there? Loser.
Fancy Doctor.
Brother of Schindler.
And this is the birth of Fred
Jesus
Claus.
Christ. Let us know in the comments or send us an email at talktous@movietools.com. Was there a brother to Schindler?
Yes.
And do you think he hated himself? Like,
do you think he contemplated murdering Schindler?
Yes.
Like, how quickly did he take a swing at his brother after the first, family dinner?
You did what?
Everybody saw how mad Peter got at what's his name, the Brady Bunch when he got star football player, and that's just a football game.
Yeah.
Imagine what Schindler's brother would have got.
I mean, yeah, the other closest thing I could see that coming to would be Fred Claus.
Yeah, that's a great example.
Everybody loves that tree.
Yeah.
See, what most people don't understand is Fred Claus is a sequel to Schindler's List. They just took out a lot of the violence.
Right. They just took out all the killing and it just changed it with making toys for kids.
You know how Lion King is a reimagination of Hamlet?
Yeah. It's the same thing with
Fred Claus' reimagination of Schindler's List.
Yeah.
See, what they don't show is what's his name? Not Paul Giamatti, the brother. I can't. Why am I?
Vince Vaughn?
Thank you. What they don't show is Vince Vaughn at the top of the clock tower with a rifle just picking off the elves in the courtyard.
You think you're better than me?
Wow, that got way off topic.
Yeah,
That was mainly my fault, but I'm happy we
You
got
know what?
through that.
That was, I think, the most fun we've had in a while, on one divergent topic.
I'm not crying. You're crying.
Yeah.
It's the webcam. There's a piece of water on it.
Yeah.
But seriously, Schindler's List is an amazing movie.
It's a really good movie. But back to Dump Month movies.
Yes.
What other cult? You know what? There was a 1998 cult classic movie that came out in February. I don't want to give the name away away.
Let us guess.
It started a comedy duo that no one had expected.
Okay.
It was a sleeper hit. It definitely became a cult classic. A lot of people liked it when it first came out, but not a lot of people went to go see it. So it kind of bombed a little bit. But the people who did see it thought it was an instant classic. I don't want to give the actors away.
1998.
Yep.
Spawned a buddy duo that no one would have expected.
I wouldn't
saying?
say buddy, but a comedic duo.
Or comedic duo.
They've been in a few movies since then, and they just play off each other really well.
Okay.
It's a guy and a girl.
Guy and a girl.
The lead actor. This is his first. No, I wouldn't say it's his first. This is his first. I want to say huge studio debut, because the two movies that he's most known for before then were his movies. He made them, and they got popular, and they were released by fairly big. But this one was, I think, made and produced by Universal Studios.
Okay. Can you give us any bit of the plot
It
at all?
involves music.
The sound of music.
No, and a wanting to keep singing music.
Okay.
School of Rock.
No, that came in the early 2000s.
Yeah. Wanting to sing music.
Yes.
Started with music, or basically about music and wanting to sing music.
It's also a love story.
And a love story. Well, it's not West Side Story.
No.
Bodyguard.
No.
Yeah, well, that came out in like 80.
I know.
This actor. This is the only time this actor had long permed hair that I can remember.
Well, hang on a second. I'm trying to. God, what? 1998. Let's remember that. What was I doing?
Let us also know in the comments if you got this before Tony did, because we're sitting at about a minute and a half at this point.
You can't give me any other clue.
It's such a well-known movie,
and I'm gonna punch Gavin if I don't know it. I'm sorry. I mean,
it's been so long.
The 98 comedy duo. Nobody.
Okay, so the love story part is like they get involved, but he wants to continue being the musician, and she doesn't. But they reconcile on an airplane, if I remember the ending correctly.
Oh, Wedding Singer?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's been so long since I've seen that movie. I was like, the airplane thing might be a figment.
A movie about singing. Dang it.
What would you say it was about?
About a wedding.
Multiple weddings.
I was thinking both people. When you said like a movie about wanting to keep singing, I thought you meant the couple wanted to keep singing.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
No, I was thinking just Adam Sandler.
I was like, well, I'm glad that's what you were thinking. Thank you
for letting us know what you were thinking.
I was trying to be purposely vague because
you didn't do a bad job giving clues. I'll give you that.
You know what? You should write test questions for Fenra. That is a perfectly vague test question.
No, but that came out in February of 1998. Mm-hmm. Like I said, the people who saw it when it came out instantly loved that movie. Yeah. The problem is not a lot of people went out and saw it. So it wasn't until, say, 10 years later where people, when I was getting out of college, like, oh, why didn't I see this movie when I was 14? This movie's fucking amazing. Just because nobody went to see it, and then it was just making the rounds as a cult classic.
And I think at that point, so if I remember correct, I want to say that was only like his fourth movie at that point. Like,
the only two I could think of beforehand were Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore.
Well, Bulletproof came right after, before
Oh,
Happy
that's
Gilmore.
right, Bulletproof. I forgot about
it. Came out, not that that's a great movie, but...
but I mean, that was definitely a bigger studio budget than he had for Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore.
I think he Billy Madison was not his first film, but Billy Madison was his first bigger film.
Yeah.
And then
before that, he was
Going Overboard is his first movie.
Watch it. Wasn't Airheads before that though?
Airheads, but I wouldn't consider him like the lead. I'm thinking like lead.
Yeah, that was Brendan Fraser.
No, Adam Sandler was in there.
Oh no, the lead would have been.
The lead was Brendan. But it was still him and Steve Buscemi in there.
Yeah.
I mean, and he did play the small part in Coneheads and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But
well, I mean, he was a writer on Saturday Night Live for 10, 15 years.
Well, Coneheads was wasn't that
that was
was it
Dan Aykroyd?
Yeah,
no, I know, but who was the producer for it?
Lorne Michaels.
Lorne Michaels. Yeah.
It was an SNL.
So that's why that's why all of them, like Phil Hartman was in there for a
minute. That was one of the first.
Sinbad, David Spade.
That was one of the first SNL movies.
Yeah.
But
then it was Wayne's World.
Wayne's World, party up. I got a friend whose husband is from Delaware, and every now and again she said, "Oh yeah, we're going up to Phil's parents to Delaware," and I just send her the gift like, "Hi, we're in Delaware." And she's every now and again she's like, "I've never seen Wayne's World," and I almost stopped being friends with her.
I love that. Hi, I'm at Delaware.
Yeah. Family, they have a very nice family, very nice home. They live pretty close to the coast, so it's a really nice time when they go up there. I was like, "But you're in Delaware."
Hi. I'm in Delaware.
I'm gonna have to go now. Just take a trip.
She loves and they take the kids. They go see the family and they have a time. And I was like, "But you're in Delaware. Like, what the fuck are you doing in Delaware? Making another kid, I guess." Something tells me not a whole lot else to do out there. You have 2 kids in 3 years after 3 separate Delaware trips. I think I know what happens.
I know what happens on that trip.
So, do you have any others on a list?
I got one more I did want to talk about. Okay. This one I believe deserves to be on the dump up list.
Okay.
Ghost Rider. Not even going to beat around the bush. I think the studio wanted this to be a great success, and I wanted it to be a great success too. But I think, like, the executive who watched the final cut, and they're like, "So, when we talking June, maybe like early July?" They're like, "February. The middle of February." Like, I'm going to watch the forecast for a blizzard so no one can go to the movies and see this giant flaming piece of shit.
We saw the first final cut screening.
Please no.
This will be a limited release to the tundra of the Antarctic.
Well, and that
the researchers down there will be able to watch it.
And also, the other reason for that too is because, if I remember correctly, now I'm not talking about the oversaturation of now since 2008 of like MCU and DCU and all that stuff. I'm talking about back then though. That's you had your X-Men movies, your Spider-Man, the Sam Raimi ones that I know you love.
Yes,
I mean I do too. But Fantastic Four. So at that point they were like just starting to pump out. They're like, what else can we get out? So that I think was the true beginning of the punishment you get from saturating too early without a set proven model.
Right.
That's just my opinion on that, though.
It was just my biggest problem with that movie is the pacing. They run through it so quickly, and then they stop for like the most meaningless things, like the date with Eva Mendes. Like I don't care. Like I want a long drawn out fight with one of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. The devil is setting after you. Oh no, you just turned your chain around real fast and he's dead. Oh, that was real cool. Thanks.
Yeah.
Oh, you did the same thing underwater? Oh, wow. Glad I stuck around an hour and a half for that one.
Yeah, thanks, Ghost Rider.
Right? Like, it had such potential, but they blew through the parts that would have made that movie great, they just ran through it. And the parts that the studio is like, we need Eva Mendes in a low-cut shirt. Like, okay.
Oh, pick me.
Yeah. And she had that for all of her scenes.
she was in that for 90% of her movies.
Yeah.
I mean, haven't you seen the other guys?
Yeah, I love
I just think it's so funny that Will Ferrell's giving, honey, is that what you're wearing for dinner? Okay.
I just like how...
sure you don't want to change?
Mark Wahlberg, you shut your mouth.
Yeah,
you ever need any help, you come find me.
I will tell you something. If anything ever happens to you, I will take care of your wife. Okay. Thanks.
And that was also another point of the Ghost Rider thing is that was also another example of relying too much on CGI. Hoping that CGI was going to tell the story. And if you really go back and watch it, it's not great CGI.
It's not the best. I've definitely seen worse.
Yeah, it's not the worst. But and I'm not talking about like a sci-fi channel special either.
This is better than Sharknado.
Yeah, yes. Definitely better than Sharknado.
Well, visually, storyline, you can't get better than Sharknado.
Yeah,
well, Cocaine Bear.
I think you can get
Cocaine Bear is the only thing that can get above Sharknado.
Nothing gets above Cocaine Bear.
Getting a headache right now.
But that's what I'm saying. I mean, for what they were trying to do with it, the CGI I don't think was 100% exactly where they needed it to be for that style of movie.
For it to be able to tell that kind of story.
Yeah.
Woohoo! You wrapped a chain around a dude and he melted.
Yeah, but again, they were that
twice.
There
was 2 different boss fights. One of them was underneath. It was underwater.
The first one was Earth.
Oh yeah.
He just basically cooked him from the inside.
Yeah. But again, that goes back to like rights and stuff, and they like looking at what they own still, or what whoever owned what property, and they're like, oh well, because I can't remember who produced Ghost Rider. Was that Marvel or was that like Fox or Sony? I can't remember.
I think that was a Sony one because that was back in the day when Marvel was really close to going under, and they were just selling off IPs left and right.
That's what I'm saying. So you get like some of these, like Fox only owns certain things, Sony only owns certain things. So at that point,
Sony at this point only owns the rights to Spider-Man.
At this point,
I think they've already sold back the Fantastic Four license.
Well, that was Fox.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Fox had X-Men. And
I knew they had X-Men.
Well, they don't anymore.
Well, yeah, because they got bought out by Disney.
But yeah, Fox basically just said, "Here, you know what? We're done. Here, you have them."
But Sony had great success with Spider-Man. So they're like, "No, we're keeping this." And now they've loaned out Spider-Man himself to Marvel.
Yeah,
right.
But they still own the rights to the Spider-Universe. That's why Kraven the Hunter is coming out, and that's why we got Morbius. Like Sony's trying to build a Spider-Man universe without Spider-Man, and which is really intriguing to me, and I really wanted this to go well, and they had some great success with Venom, and I'm really excited about Kraven the Hunter.
They did not have good success with Morbius.
Like 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Yeah. That's the way you got to look at it.
Yeah.
And if Kraven the Hunter can actually do well, I think Sony has a real shot at making their own Spider-Verse without Spider-Man, and I'm interested to see what they can do with that. Just at the very least, just remake Morbius. You know what would have made a great Morbius movie? Not hiring the guy from 30 Seconds to Mars. What's his name? Jared Leto.
Jared Leto.
Yeah.
The guy who screwed up Joker as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
The guy's greatest movie was American Psycho when he got an axe to the head. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought he was pretty good in Alexander, but anyway.
I don't think he's a very good actor. I think he's a fantastic songwriter and singer. I think that's his lane, and he needs to go back to it.
Yep. Somehow we've brought it all back to comic skin.
And that's how we roll.
Well, to be fair, something I didn't want to go back to comics so quickly, but Black Panther did come out in February. The year it came out.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, I do remember that coming out then.
And that's like top 5 Marvel movie for me. I would say I love Black Panther.
Well, that was one of the highest rated
Yeah.
at the time.
I think it got a little bit of a bump because of Chadwick Bronson passing.
Yeah.
But I think even when it came out, I thought that was like one of the MCU's best movies that they had
Yeah, but
come
he
out
didn't pass at that time. He didn't pass
with. It was
until
after,
later.
like
Yeah.
he died like 6 months after.
Because he had already done Infinity War
Yeah.
and Endgame and Civil War.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
And Civil War. Well, I mean, Civil War came out before.
Yeah, Civil
Black
War
Panther,
was his
but-
breakout.
Yeah.
Or like his introduction, and then he got his own.
But yeah, he was in Infinity War and Endgame and stuff.
Yeah.
So I mean, he
And they only filmed that. They filmed that 1 year after Black Panther. They just took 2 years to release it.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
money.
Duh.
what else is it about?
It could be a lot. It could be
We
about a
could
lot
be.
of other things.
We also have a Tarantino movie on here.
Ooh.
January 19th,
Okay. I want to see if I can guess. which
1996.
Tarantino movie that came out in 1996.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's got to be Dust Till Dawn.
Well, thanks for.
Sorry, I didn't know. I didn't know if it was a challenge version.
Yeah, it was-
It wasn't a challenge. I was just trying to figure it out, and you're like, "Oh, that stuff's still done."
If I'd have said Selma Hayek, it would have instantly
Oh, yeah.
thrown it away.
Because
Or
I knew
Danny
that
Trejo.
that was one of
Or-
the few movies he did that came out in '96. That's why I knew that.
I thought Dust Till Dawn came out later in the 90s. I thought it was like closer to 98. Yeah, well, clearly I'm wrong.
I mean, maybe Dust Till Dawn 2 did. But
Tarantino was not
I don't
involved.
think he even had anything to do with that, but
Yeah, I was gonna say, how did did he just sell the rights of? Like, yeah, sure, go out and make 5 other copies.
This
of
is the same thing they did with Tremors and
Yeah.
Starship Troopers.
it's like, hey, if you want to
I think Casper Van Dien actually owns the rights to Starship Troopers at this point.
I think he bought it after that.
After the third one, like
Right.
I'll keep doing this, y'all. You just give me the rights.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, they're making some money because people are watching them because
Yeah.
they keep making them. I mean, if nobody was watching
You
it
know,
at all,
if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life.
There you
And
go.
I don't think Casper Van Dien has worked a day since 1996.
no, and it
Yeah.
clearly shows.
Yeah.
Sorry,
But he was
Casper.
on the last 3 episodes of Monk. He was Natalie's boyfriend.
Yeah, again, I stick by my statement there.
he
Sorry,
was
Casper.
also in that series U. He was in the third season.
I
Third
think
season.
you're just continually
All right,
prove my
so-
point here.
The one thing I hate about that show, is I find myself rooting for the evil person.
Right.
Like, I don't like that about me, so I quit halfway through the first
I
season.
don't like that about me.
Yeah, I didn't kill that bitch. Like, wait, what I say?
I mean, hold on. Oh, damn. Yeah. I
kill
get
her. Kill her best friend. She's poisoning her thoughts. She loves you and only. Wait, what's wrong with me?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I mean, it's no different than being a fan of the show Lucifer and really liking Lucifer's character.
Or Dexter.
Dexter's awesome. Shut your face.
shut your whore mouth.
Yeah.
No joke.
How dare you talk about this guy that
I
murders
don't.
people?
I felt really.
He kills bad people.
Still killing.
I hate the
Stopping
fact.
other people from killing other people.
I hated that myself. That I was rooting for that character. That is no one anyone should be rooting for. And credits are where credits due. That is so very good performances and very good writing because they find you rooting for this evil, horrible human being.
Yeah, you got Woodchuck Todd.
So
What?
He's from Easy A.
Yeah.
Oh
He's
yeah.
Todd and Easy A, and he's
Yep.
also
Holy crap! I didn't notice that.
the other Tucker in John Tucker. He's
See, I
John
never saw
Tucker's
John.
brother.
Okay. I just remember in the Easy A, and she's like, "You ready for the finish?" Like, yeah. Whew.
Yeah.
She just straight gut punches him.
Yeah.
On like a bounce too. Like she got that lift.
She almost had like an outfield crow hop.
Yeah. You almost heard her say Hadouken.
But I do remember when we brought up, we do have to get back in a little bit back to the Dumb Money movies, but just a real quick thing about the show Lucifer is I remember when I started, I love the show. I think it's great.
I think the writing got off a little bit when Netflix took over.
It did, but the overall premise of it I really liked. And the thing is, my mother is a heavy religious person, very Catholic, very well, a law-abiding in the Catholicism way. And I told her about Lucifer, and she's like, "You can't watch that." And I said, "Why?" I was like, "Ma, he's actually doing good things in the show. He's helping police solve crimes." She's like, "That's what the devil makes you think. That he's doing good, and then he tricks you, so you do bad things." I'm like, "It's a TV show, Ma."
Like, yeah.
Ma. I felt like Ralph Macchio Mike on his video when he has to call his mother and tell him he's a jail. Ma. What are you? We're in for murder. Ma.
She's sending in Vinny. It's my cousin. Vinny.
My cousin Vinny. So with Dump Months, we got about 10, 15 minutes left here. But If you could pick, let me ask you this.
Before we get into your question,
okay,
I got one more movie quickly to talk about that is technically a dump month movie.
You don't have to quickly talk about it. You can talk about it.
Well, we only got 10 minutes left, and you clearly have an idea we want to get into.
Just talk about it.
Yeah, talk.
It's The Grey with Liam Neeson. Again.
Liam, you got us again, buddy.
Liam just keeps getting dumped on.
You Irish bastard.
You amazing Irish bastard.
I love you, and your movies are great. And I don't know why the studio execs, ban you to February. Well, this came out on January 27th of 2012. I remember seeing it in theaters just because I think it was fairly recently after the first Taken, because I think that came out in 2009, 2008, somewhere around there. And I think this was before Taken 2, but it's called The Grey. Have you ever seen it?
I never watched it, but I saw the previews. So it's about him like kind of getting stranded in the wilderness and being hunted by a pack of wolves. Right?
Yeah. That's basically the trailer.
I've only seen bits and pieces of it. I haven't seen the whole thing.
Well, me and my friends, we saw Taken, like, we gotta go see the new Liam Neeson movie. So we went out and saw The Grey. Yeah. He's on an Alaskan, almost a oil refinery place, but he's a security guard. He's got a rifle and he keeps out for the local wildlife. And he was supposed to rotate back home, but he gets separated and he gets lost in the woods. And he's like, okay, I have to make it here. And there's a hungry pack of like Alaskan wolves, like timber wolves, after him. So he's just got to make it. He's got like a group of other people. He's like, we're going to get to home. We're going to get safe. It's fine. There's this one scene around the campfire and they're all talking, just sitting down like, oh God, we're fucked. One guy's gone. The wolf just drags him off. So basically, the end of the movie, spoilers, it's Liam Neeson and the one, like, alpha wolf. And Liam Neeson's like, this is gonna, like, one of us is not leaving here. So he's already lost, like, to the fight to the wolves, like, a couple of times. He's like, I gotta, he takes, like, little mini, like, liquor bottles. He puts them in between his knuckles, duct tapes them to his hand, and then breaks them. And then he goes to fist fight this timber wolf.
That's awesome.
It's a really good movie. If you haven't seen it, Leonardo DiCaprio basically got the Oscar for this.
So it's basically the end of Kickboxing.
Yeah. Leonardo got the Oscar that Liam Neeson should have won.
We should almost do this as an episode. Find like all of Liam Neeson's movies and figure out when they released. Because I just pulled up one of his older ones, Darkman.
Oh, yeah.
And that came out in August 24th.
Oh, so that was like a week before the fall.
That's basically in Dump
yeah.
That's in Dump Month. It's like, let's look up Liam Neeson movies, release dates.
So I was listening.
He's based his entire career on just fucking Dump Months. Like, my movies are great. Put them in February or August. I don't give a shit.
I wish you would.
I dare you. I double dog dare you, motherfucker.
So I saw a clip of a podcast that he was on here. I think it was recently because they were talking about, the resurgence of bringing back Ewan McGregor and getting older people back in from the prequels into the new series, and he was talking about him and Ewan McGregor on set for the Phantom Menace, and it's like the first scene where they're actually getting to pull out their lightsaber. They're on the ship going in to be like the mediators or whatever. He said so both of them pull out their basically the hilt that they had on their side, and they both hold it up and they get their stance. They both go, and they were both sitting there doing that, and they just hear from the back, cut, and George Lucas comes in and goes, guys, we'll add that later.
Wait, where did you see that on?
It was like a clip of a podcast. I was going through like Instagram.
So he actually did.
There's one of the Star Wars sites I follow.
Okay, because there's almost the exact same story that was asked about him when he was on the Graham Norton show.
Okay.
And they actually brought lightsabers because they wanted Ewan McGregor to show him. Liam Neeson wasn't on that one.
But yeah, this was Liam Neeson talking about
this. No, this was Ewan McGregor, though. He was on there and he talked the same thing. He's like, yeah, we're out there and same exact thing. He's like, Lucas said, you don't have to make the noises.
Right? Yeah. It's like, guys, we'll add that in.
Well, they did say, though, because I read that that Liam Neeson, when he brought, he changed the game up with how they taught people how to use, or actually getting people to synchronize lightsaber battles, because Liam Neeson had an experience with sword fighting,
right,
prior to his movie career, or maybe during his movie career, but he had actually sword fighting experience.
Well, he did. Did he do Count of Monte Cristo?
Yeah, I believe so.
One of them.
But he did. But I'm saying in his real life, he actually had sword fighting experience. So they said when they brought him on to be Qui-Gon, he said he was teaching them a couple things, and it kind of changed the games. That's why you see, compared to the original going forward, those movies on, they were going to Liam for some advice on like how should we be swinging this, how should we be doing it, and that's why they became so.
Well, that's good.
Because
I think one of my favorite fight scenes of the Star Wars series is in Revenge of the Sith, and it's between Obi-Wan and Anakin. Yeah. I think that's my favorite fight scene ever. But real quick, just to play off of like you guys will add that in later. Laura Dern, when she was filming her scenes and she had to fire the laser pistol, to this day, if you watch a video, you could see her mouth go. Like she had to get the recoil on her wrist, she had to say that. Apparently, they did like 60 takes, and she could not stop. Like, pew. Like you could watch. Like she got it down pretty minimal, but if you watch it, she says like pew, like just so she knows when to recoil. Like she says it every take, apparently.
Pew.
Yep. Pew. Pew.
I want to see here. I'm looking up.
But what was your question you were going to ask before I so rudely interrupted with the gray?
I think with your rudeness, I completely forgot.
He didn't forget how rude you were.
No one will ever forget that.
I'm just looking up. I'm trying to see like release dates on some of his movies. Well, obviously Star Wars is not going to be in there, but
Phantom Menace came out in December, November, somewhere around there. I think
that was May.
Yeah.
Was it? I thought it was later in the year.
Right around May the 4th.
Oh.
But I'm trying to find like
this
one
is
that
the May.
is heavily him. That one wouldn't be it because that's a big movie. But anything that's like not mass, like, I'm just trying to look here.
I have a hunch on a really favorite movie of mine, and I want to say this movie came out in a dump month. And if it did, I'm going to do clues and see if you guys can get it.
Yeah, give us some clues.
What? How? Oh, there it is. All right. Lost the name of the movie for a moment.
Oh, that's what I wanted to check out to see. Hang on a second, people. Oh, that's not actually. Man, I thought that would have been one.
Okay, this one is a dump month movie, and it is not only a cult classic, but it is William Dafoe's greatest performance ever.
Okay.
In my mind. He plays a FBI agent, and he keeps telling the...
Boondock Saints.
Yep. January 27th. And I was going to say, I had to stop myself from... It was William Dafoe's and Norman Reedus. Like, don't say Norman Reedus.
Yeah, don't say Norman Reedus.
So, yeah, that came out January 27th in 1996, 7, whenever it came out. But, yeah, that's technically a dump month movie.
But I'm thinking, though, like, talking about Liam, and he's obviously very...
prolific
with the dumb months. They might actually have found that it works for him, and they're like, if they have a Liam Neeson movie, and they know they got all their other blockbusters,
he's got that like, Celtic Irish.
We can win this February, guys. We got a Liam Neeson movie.
He's got the luck of the Irish.
Locked and loaded.
He's got the luck of the Irish.
It's Taken meets Star Wars.
Too bad he died.
Jesus Christ! I want to see that movie.
Oh my god. They basically did that. The Obi-Wan series.
Oh yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
only it's Yoda that plays like the.
And I would have to argue that my favorite lightsaber battle is between him and Vader at the very end of that one.
I mean, that is really good, especially when Obi-Wan starts dipping into the dark side a little bit.
Right, I like
he dipped into he got right back out of it, but there's a reason why he lifted up 30 stones and then smashed Vader.
Yeah. But there was a scene, they redid the scene where he's getting buried, and they dubbed it over Step Brothers.
I'm burying you.
Like, what are you doing? I'm burying you. Oh my god, I'm alive! Stop, you're waking the neighbors!
I know we're out of time, but just real quick. So I bought Baldur's Gate 3 about a week ago. So anybody who plays D&D, I've made a gnome fighter, and I've named it Adoy. Yoda backwards.
All right.
And I gave him proficiency in athletics.
Adoy.
Oh my god, it's so awesome.
Adoy.
And I gave him proficiency in athletics because of the Attack of the Clone Wars movie where he's doing backflips over Count Dooku.
All right. Well then, yeah. So, but it actually, so we do have like 1 or 2 more minutes. But another thought I had is that might also be another reason why a lot of film festivals go on around January and February.
Yeah.
A lot of them happen at the beginning. I don't know if there's any correlation as to the reasoning behind that, but I mean, that could be a potential.
It could be, but I know a lot of the big ones like Cannes, South by Southwest, Sundance, they don't take place.
They go later in like May.
Yeah,
May,
and
June,
the ones
stuff
we're
like
involved with Sunscreen, they're in late March, early April.
End of April.
End of April, early May. Yeah. My apologies.
But if you go back to like a lot of the local ones here, I'm just talking about like a lot. If you look up, not the ones that obviously every single person knows, a lot of them are held during those months, and it might be because they don't want to kind of similar to like the other movies. They don't want to overlap with a big film festival. They're trying to get people to their one that's not as big. But
I mean, I'm sure there's a reason.
There's just a correlation, or somebody should do a dump month festival.
Yeah, but I mean,
not saying that the movies are going to be bad, but just like have that theme. Like, why does nobody do that?
I think it's more along they don't want to compete with the other ones, because there's probably a reason why Sunscreen ends the 2 days before con starts, and everybody at Sunscreen is shipping off to France.
Oh, I have no doubt. But I'm saying I think somebody should do like a dump month festival. Like hey, we're in that time of
Get Doug Scherter on the phone. We've got a new idea.
Doug, we're calling you up, bud.
Calling you up. We'll see you at the bar in an hour, probably.
We're getting Doug T-shirt coming in.
But we are about out of time, though, guys. So thank you all so much for joining us talking dump months. What did you think of that one?
Like I said,
the
start of the episode, I had no idea about that term, but looking into it,
it was not a big hot steaming pile of shit that I thought it was.
I'll take it.
And honestly, once again, if we can sit down and do some actual research, because Google is apparently not helping without being ultra specific.
I know.
If we could sit down and just find like a list of movies that were actually dump month movies instead of like the top 10s that disprove it or something like that. I think it would be worth revisiting, especially because Boondock Saints came out on January 27th, and that's... I don't understand how that would be considered a dump movie.
Well, we can revisit this topic in January.
We can.
Damn right we can.
After the beginning of the year, when we're done talking all the holiday stuff that's going to be coming up, we can definitely revisit that. But
don't threaten me with a good time.
I won't. I'm not going to.
We've definitely found the greatest dump month actor.
Yes. He's winning. He's winning.
He's
ahead.
But again, just like what Patrick just said, but to you, the viewers and listeners out there, if you guys know of any specific movies that you like that are considered in dump month release time frames, let us know. Reach out to us. Again, always check us out on Spotify is our main one.
Spotify, but we're also on YouTube, iHeartRadio, Google, Apple Podcasts, all of them. We're also on all the social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We try and be active as much as possible on there, but a good place to get us would be probably Facebook. But once again, I have all the socials on my phone. I get notified whenever we get a message.
And send us an email if you want to talk to us at movietalksandchill.com.
Yeah, let us know your thoughts of this episode.
Also on the website, movietalksandchill.com, you can also leave comments there. And then also for you guys to know, check it out because we have been doing updates on it. Our affiliations are now added to that there.
Mm-hmm.
So you can check out who we're affiliated with. They also have their links to their sites as well of, the Sunscreen Film Festival, Elevation Movies, which we will be on coming up. We're still waiting to find out the finalized deal on that.
Looks like it's getting pretty close.
It's getting close. And also WDBFradio.com. But you can see those affiliations on the main page, on the main homepage of MovieTalksandChill.com. If you want to check out what they're about, just click on the icon. That'll send you to their web pages. But yeah, until next time for Movie Talks and Chill, we appreciate you guys. We're your hosts. I'm Tony Serrato.
I'm Gavin Butts.
I'm Patrick Wall.
All right, guys, take care. Don't forget, guys, you can visit us at our website, MovieTalksandChill.com. Email us at talktous@MovieTalksandChill.com, or find us on our YouTube channel.
You can also follow us on social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Movie Talks and Chill.
You can listen to us on Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcasts, Breaker, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, coming soon to Apple Podcasts, CastBox, and Overcast.
New episodes available every Wednesday. Talk to you then. Theme music for our podcast was composed, arranged, and performed by Paul the Rock.